Well, this Call of Duty in 2023 thing just keeps getting more and more confusing because, as we all know and kind of been expected for a while now, is that there isn't going to be a mainline Call of Duty game being released in 2023, and there was going to be some expansion for Modern Warfare 2, but we're not entirely sure what's going on there, but that's what's been the expectation, and we've expected this even though this hasn't been officially confirmed, but we've also had good reason for this because the source where this information came from was Jason Schreier, and Jason Schreier is kind of like that guy when it comes to leaking in just gaming as a whole. He doesn't really miss. But of course, this doesn't stop Activision from confusing the hell out of us because they keep releasing these statements that completely throw everything off all over again. And once again, they've done it today. And I guess let's just read it directly from this Charlie Intel tweet. And what they say is, with plans for next year, including the most robust Call of Duty live operation to date, the next premium release in the blockbuster annual series. So obviously they're talking about 2023 because they say next year, and then of course they start making it sound like they're trying to release a full Call of Duty game that year. And we see this when they mention the blockbuster annual series, annual meaning it's going to be coming out every year, happens every year. And then on top of that, they say the next full premium release. And when they're talking about premium, they're normally talking about full Call of Duty games or mainline Call of Duty games. And they literally do this later in this exact same statement when they're talking about Vanguard and how it's weak perception, and they call it, of course, a premium release. So of course, when everyone reads this, they're thinking, like myself included, we're thinking like, well, maybe we were wrong about this, and there is going to be a mainline Call of Duty game come out in 2023, probably made by Treyarch. And this is exactly how they made it sound like. But of course, that guy who originally leaked this, Jason Schreier, did not kind of sit by and let his good name be tarnished if it was. But of course, he came to defend his original story about Call of Duty skipping a year. And he tweeted this in response to Charlie Intel's tweet, saying, "Let me make this super clear. The next game by Treyarch is coming out in 2024. Next year, there will be Modern Warfare 2 premium paid expansion by Sledgehammer. It's supposed to have a lot of content. Maybe that's why they're calling it a full release. But it's more Modern Warfare 2. And this, of course, is him sticking to what he originally said, that it is going to be 2 years of Modern Warfare 2, but he did add something that I don't believe he originally said, but was expected. And of course, what this is that there will be an expansion for Modern Warfare 2 in 2023 to kind of take place of when a normal Call of Duty game would come out. Now, one thing I find incredibly interesting that people aren't mentioning is the whole mention that Sledgehammer Games is the one making the expansion for Modern Warfare 2. I mean, that's pretty significant, and we'll come back to that later in the video. But one thing that, of course, a lot of people are wondering or could wonder is how much exactly would this expansion even cost? And Jason Schreier did tweet about this too, and he said something just absolutely crazy. And he said they're probably going to market it and sell it as a $70 game with new single and multiplayer content, but it's more Modern Warfare 2. And yeah, 70 whole dollars for an expansion, the same price as the actual game. That would be insane, to say the very least, because I just don't know what they do. Because like he tells us, that's going to be more single player multiplayer content, right? So that's cool and everything, but honestly, even if they did match everything that we got for the launch of Modern Warfare 2, I honestly have a hard time believing that they could justify it for $70. Because when we're paying for $70, we're not just paying for a campaign and multiplayer, we're paying for the whole development time, the work they put into the engine to develop a bunch of new things for it, and also all the guns and a bunch of other things. It's not just the campaign and multiplayer maps themselves. So I don't really know if they could justify that $70 price, and honestly, I don't even know if they'll even match the same content that we got at the launch of Modern Warfare 2, because the people developing this is Sledgehammer Games, and like they were working on their own game up until last year, and that means at most they had like a year and a half to develop this expansion. So I don't even know. It's just like crazy. Like, part of me just feels like they're going to test the water at 70, kind of let it leak, and then if there's a really bad response that they're definitely going to get, then they'll lower it down to a more reasonable price for an expansion. But I don't know, that $70 price tag just sounds a bit crazy to me. But I guess with this kind of leaves us with all the new information we have for Call of Duty in 2023. But as you may notice, there's still a decent amount of time left on this video, because there is something that I feel like people are overlooking about this whole situation, and what that is the mention of Sledgehammer Games being the one developing this expansion for Modern Warfare 2. Because if this is true, what this tells me is that Sledgehammer Games is no longer a mainline Call of Duty developer. They have been reduced back to a support studio. And this has some ramifications on the releases for mainline Call of Duties, because this means we're back to only having two mainline developers, Treyarch and Infinity Ward. And I know initially when we all hear that, that just sounds a bit concerning, but I actually think this potentially could be a really good thing, because if we go back to the 2 developer cycle but we change it to a 2-year cycle, this would be absolutely great. Because what would happen is that, let's just say you're a fanboy of Treyarch games like me, like Treyarch game comes out, we play it for 2 whole years that it's supported, and then of course Infinity Ward games comes out and we can't play our Treyarch game for 2 years, but it's only 2 years that we don't get to play it, which isn't honestly that big of a deal, because that's already what we were doing with the 3-year cycle. You know, Treyarch game would come out, we'd play that for just 1 year, and then we'd have to wait 2 years because of Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer to finally play Treyarch's game again. So honestly, the same time to wait in between Treyarch games is the same, but we actually get to play it for longer when it's actually out. And honestly, I think that this would give the developers the exact same amount of time that they would normally have to develop a Call of Duty game anyway. So to me, this just sounds like a humongous W if this is the case. And I was wondering why it sounded like so big of a W, but then that's when I remembered, like, I've been calling for this since 2018. I've been saying they should do this, and it seems like potentially they finally are. And if this is the case, it could be absolutely great, because this would definitely be better than the alternative, of course, where we still have 3 mainline Call of Duty developers and they're all on a 2-year cycle. Because if you're a fan of just one of the developers like Treyarch, you get to play that game for 2 years, sure, but then it's 4 years till the next one comes out. Like, that would be an insane wait. But regardless though, that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Definitely a crazy situation, and a lot of questions just arising, but honestly, all we could really do now is just further wait till Activision finally officially confirms something, and honestly, that might not be for a while. So in the meantime, we'll just keep up with the new little things that come out here and there. Regardless though, that's going to wrap it up for me, but I would love to hear what you guys think about this whole situation. Do you think that Call of Duty is skipping a year, isn't skipping a year? If it is, do you like what you're hearing, what they're going to do from Jason Schreier or not? Just let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Regardless though, that's going to wrap it up for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely do all that normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm gonna go catch you guys in the stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be, and laters guys.